Hello, folks, and welcome back to NL Now on NTV. My name is Gary Wheeseltin, and I am your host for this morning. Today on the show, we have two wonderful special guests. In the interview chair, I'll be speaking with longtime activist and author Gemma Hickey, and on the musical guest set, we have the wonderful Mallory Johnson to perform for us. And here she is now, folks, to kick off the show, Mallory Johnson.
On a hill or a name on a door. Yeah, that sounds nice, but it ain't what I'm looking for. Not about chasing dollars or the X on a map or finding what I think I want, but be thankful for what I have. I don't have to dig too deep. It's not really all that hard. It's right there in front of me. I don't have to search too far to find where the good things are. A simple smile or a helping hand, front seat on Sunday morning, nosebleeds to my favorite band, overdue conversations, taking the long way home. It's the simple things that feed my soul. I don't have to dig too deep. It's not really all that hard. It's right there in front of me. I don't have to search too far to find where the good things are. To find where the good things are. Oh, waking up next to him tugs on my heartstrings. When her baby's little fingers tug on my guitar strings. That's where the good things, that's where the good things, where the good things are. Rain on a rose, sun kissing the clouds, front porch swinging, lighters in a crowd. I don't have to dig too deep. It's not really all that hard. It's right there in front of me. I don't have to search too far to find where the good things are. To find where the good things are.
Welcome back to NL Now. Here with me today in the interview chair, I have the wonderful Gemma Hickey. Gemma, it's been a while since we had you on the show last. How have you been doing?
Well, I've been missing you, girl.
Yes.
But it's good to see you.
Yes, it's great to see you too. So now, I'm sure a lot of the viewers at home know who you are, but for those who might not, why don't you give us a little bit of a background on yourself?
Well, I've been an activist for over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an author. Mm-hmm. I run a nonprofit in the community called Art Force. I'm the founder of Pathways, and I like to keep fit and on the move.
Yeah. So I want to start off by asking you about your run for provincial politics earlier this year. So what inspired you to do that?
Well, you know, I've always loved politics, and I've always felt that I'd get back into it, you know, at some point in my life. And I really felt that the state of the province could use a creative thinker, like myself. And I also was very inspired by Andrew Fury.
Yes.
And a number of the members of the Liberal Party, particularly those in cabinet who I've formed relationships with over the years through my advocacy work. And I ran in the district where I work. And so during the pandemic, I was out delivering food and blankets to people, youth who come to my center. And I really saw on the ground the need in that district. And so where there's a need, I step up. And that's why I ran in that district and ran at this point in time.
Yeah, so how challenging was it to run a campaign during the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, you know, it was really, really challenging. It was different.
Yes.
I got cut off from going door to door, so I missed a week and a half on the doors, and that really hurt my campaign because I couldn't ID Liberal voters that way. So in the end, it turned out for me anyway to be about leaving a light on in the district, to be a present, to be present in the district for people, you know, because they were calling me, and some people were calling for food, some people were calling about other basic needs, and so myself and my campaign manager were there until the very end, and we had the light on for people, and people reached out, and I was really, really proud of the campaign we ran, proud of my team, and what we were able to accomplish in that period of time during that challenging time.
Now, do you think that you might take another run at politics any other point in the future?
You know, that's a good question, and something that I thought about, and something that people have brought up to me, and of course I wouldn't rule it out, but I have a bunch of other things that I want to finish and do. I'm working on my second book now, and I want to finish my master's, and I've got a few other things coming up, so I'm really excited about that. But down the road, you never know.
Now, Gemma, you were one of the first Canadians to receive a gender-neutral birth certificate and passport. So can you tell me a little bit about the day that you received those documents and how it felt after such a long journey?
Well, it was pretty amazing. I mean, on December 14th, 2017, I received the first gender-neutral birth certificate in the country. And so I used that as a way to leverage lobbying the federal government for passports. And so in 2019, I received one of the first gender-neutral passports in the country, and that gave me wings, so to speak. I was able to travel to do different speaking gigs that I had lined up in different parts of the world, and it was incredible. It felt amazing because there was no issues when I would travel because X was on my documentation, and so it was pretty cool, I have to say. And the ripple effect, of course, was remarkable. You know, you never know. You put yourself out there, and there's sacrifices and great risk. But you know, people from all over the world have contacted me and thanked me for that work. And it's incredible to be able to carve out a space for young people who are struggling with gender identity. So it was pretty cool, I have to say.
Sounds great. Now, something we talked about last time you were on the show was your first book, and why don't you tell our viewers about that book and where they can find it?
Well, Almost Feral is a memoir, and it talks about a number of different things. So it's not just about a memoir about being transgender. It talks about different types of things in our lives that shape identity. And so it chronicles my walk across Newfoundland, but it goes in and out of past and present. And I revisit memories that shaped the person that I am today. The book's done really well. It's won a bunch of awards, and it's got great reviews. I'm really proud of it. It got published overseas, and you know, you put something out there and you never know how it's going to be received, but I'm so thankful because it raises awareness for a number of the causes that I've been advocating for. So you can pick up the book, of course, off the publisher, Breakwater Books on One Stamps Lane. You can pick it up at any bookstore, Chapters, Kohl's. You can get it online, Amazon, places like that. And yeah, I'm really proud of it, and just shocked and thrilled at how it's being received. So I really appreciate the support there, and I look forward to getting into the next one and working on that.
Yeah. So, of course, you mentioned some of the organizations you work with, and there's quite a few I know that you worked with in the past, but one of the ones I've written down here, it's called Art Force. Formerly, I think it was called For the Love of Learning.
That's right.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what that organization does?
Well, we're an arts-based charity for at-risk youth, and our age range is between 15 and 30, and so we help boost the employability and the self-esteem of young people through really awesome arts projects. So if a youth is struggling with various things in their lives, we hook them up to addiction services, and we offer direct services and things like that. But what we also do is pair them up with well-known artists in the community and work on these great projects, and then they can put that on their resume and work towards getting back to school or getting back to work. And so we take a holistic approach, of course. Sometimes we offer yoga, sometimes we offer fitness workshops, healthy eating workshops, but we're career focused. And so recently we rebranded to from For the Love of Learning to Art Force, which is a play on workforce, of course, but we're arts based and arts focused. So that's the difference, I think, in terms of what we offer and what's out there now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, something we like to do with all our guests, we did it with you last time you were on the show, is play a little game called Get to Know Me. So if you remember, I'll ask you 5 questions and you'll come back with the first thing that pops into your head.
Okay.
Your favorite food?
Pizza.
Your favorite color?
Blue.
Your favorite song?
Oh my God. I was just listening to Pride in the Name of Love by U2.
Your favorite place to visit on a day off from work?
Neary's Pond in Portugal Cove is where I swim. Yeah.
And if you could sit down and have a conversation with any person, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Joey Smallwood.
Yeah.
Because he walked across the island on the rail bed.
Yes.
And I have a lot of things to question that guy about. But also I'd like to pick his brain on why he did that and what he was thinking about as he was walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Gemma, thank you so much for coming in today. It's been so much fun. Now, before you go, I do want to ask one more question, and that's, do you have any new interesting projects coming up or anything else you'd like to speak about?
I do, actually. I've been training for another big walk, but I haven't announced it yet.
Yes.
So I will let you know. You will be the first to know when I do.
Right then.
And I'm doing a bunch of other things that I haven't talked about yet, but there's lots of exciting things to come, for sure.
Well, that's great. Thank you again, Gemma, for coming on today. It's been great. And folks at home, don't go away. We'll be right back after this short break with some music from Mallory Johnson. Welcome back to the show. I am here now in our wonderful new musical guest set with Mallory Johnson. How are you doing today, Mallory?
I am fantastic, Gary. How are you doing?
I am doing very good. So first of all, I want to thank you for coming on the show and taking the time to perform and chat with us.
Oh no, thank you for having me. This is so cool.
Nice.
I've been watching some of your shows, and I'm so honored to be a part of it.
Oh, well, that's great. So I want to know, first of all, can you remember when you first thought about being a musician as a career, or maybe who some of your early inspirations were?
Oh, that's a loaded question. I mean, I was on stage when my mother was pregnant with me, so that was my first time on stage. I wasn't even born yet, but so I grew up listening to my mom sing country music. My first time on stage myself singing was when I was 3 years old at the Strawberry Jamboree on the west coast of Newfoundland in Codroy Valley. So ever since then, I just loved being on stage. And then when I was 11, myself and my mom and my uncle and cousin formed a Celtic family band called the Cormiers.
Yes.
So that was the first time that I got a taste of the industry. It was the first time that a song that I had a part in writing was recorded. So that's kind of the moment where I knew I wanted to continue to do that as a profession. I wanted to be a songwriter and an artist, a touring musician. So yeah, early age.
Yes, that's great. Now, and since you've started, I know you've shared the stage with some pretty impressive names. I think I heard Blake Shelton and Rascal Flatts. So, I mean, what's it feel like when you think back on up to your musical career at this point, knowing that you've performed with some of the best in the industry?
Oh my gosh, well, it's been a couple full circle moments. Rascal Flatts in particular, first of all, I'm so thankful for the local music scene. These opportunities came from local music festivals, Atlantic Fest and Eastbound Hoedown. But the Rascal Flatts one was just such a full circle moment for me because my very first trip to Nashville record my debut album. One of the nights, myself and my mom went to the Grand Ole Opry. It was my first time there, and Rascal Flatts was the headlining act. And then fast forward a year later, and I get to open for them here at home.
Amazing.
So it was really, really cool. Yeah.
Now, you aren't just a singer, you're also a songwriter. So I know everyone answers this question a bit differently. So I'd love to hear what kind of process you have when you're getting ready to write something new.
I mean, honestly, it's different every time. The thing that's cool about songwriting is there's no rules.
Yes.
So, I mean, I could get an idea in the shower while there's still shampoo in my hair, and I have to hop out and write it down. It could come from a title or a hook idea. It could come from like a melody. But what's really cool about the whole songwriting process is getting to collaborate with other writers. I love co-writing. I love having a mixing pot of all these different strengths and talents and perspectives. And I think the more perspectives and more experiences you have in the room, the better the song's going to come out. So I'm really thankful to have had some really wonderful collaborations with my songwriting. So, yeah.
And do you have a favorite song of yours that you've written or worked on?
Yeah, actually, it's my most latest release that I released with some really great friends of mine, Twin Kennedy. They're a sister duo from British Columbia. And we wrote a girl power anthem, just kind of talking about the challenges of being a woman in the country music industry. And it was just based on some of our own experiences and, not only the challenges, but the beautiful things too, and what we've learned being in the industry for a long time. And it's quickly become an anthem for a lot of women in any industry. So I'm really, really proud of that one for sure.
It's a great song. I've heard it a few times on the radio as well.
Yeah, maybe I'll sing it for you today.
Yes, maybe. So one last question now for you that I'd like to get in here. If anyone watching at home wants to check out some more of your music and maybe see a calendar for your performing next or anything like that, so where can they get all that?
You can find all of that on my website at MalloryJohnsonMusic.com. I'm always posting on social media too, but you can find all the social media links on my website. And have a few local performances here and there, so make sure you check it out.
Yeah, that's great. So thank you once again, Mallory, for coming in today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Gary. It's been a blast.
And don't change that channel, folks. Coming up after the break, we've got another song from Mallory Johnson. Here with us once again to close out this morning's episode of NL Now, please welcome Mallory Johnson.
Another year, still looking younger than my age, but that don't matter. I'm told to lie about it anyway. 'Cause you can't get old and you can't act young. Take another trip around the sun if you wanna be wise woman. Another man not really listening to what I say. My education and his opinion ain't the same. If you know what's right, don't prove him wrong. Play nice, play house, and play along if you wanna be wise woman. If I knew then what I know now, well, I wouldn't stand there in that line. I'd be standing out. I'd sit pretty at the head of the table. I'd be a lady leading the way, so another girl like me wouldn't have to wait on time to be a wise woman. I've learned saying no, it don't make me weak. And turning a blind eye won't hide what you don't want to see. Trust your heart and trust your gut. Work real hard and never give up if you want to be wise woman. If I knew then what I know now, well, I wouldn't stand there in that line. I'd be standing out. I'd sit pretty at the head of the table. I'd be a lady leading the way, so another girl like me wouldn't have to wait on time to be a wise woman. Girl power shouldn't come with a price, and you know I'm right. If I knew then what I know now, well, I wouldn't stand there in that line. I'd be standing out. I'd sit pretty at the head of the table. I'd be a lady leading the way, so another girl like me wouldn't have to wait on time. No girl should have to wait on